My job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary.
Welcome to the Black Girls Heal podcast, where we talk about healing our intimacy disorders, unresolved trauma, and building a healthy relationship with first ourselves and then others. Every episode, we will talk about advice you can apply today to break unhealthy patterns and grow in your self-worth. I'm Shena, love addiction coach and trauma specialist. Let's begin. Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Black Girls Heal. So today's episode is going to be another mini drop-in episode. I'm not pulling from Q&As, but I am pulling from conversations I've had with people this week, and I'm going to share a few nuggets that I hope hit the people who need it and support you if you are feeling really torn about anything. It is allergy season in Houston, and this pollen and ragweed is kicking my butt. So I may be a little bit more stuffed up than normal, so bear with me. So here are the topics we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about situationships, being honest about what you want in relationships, and I think I'm going to switch to the third topic. So I'm not going to say what that one is, but it is going to be about being healthy in relationships. If I end up talking about it, we'll see. Sometimes I cut out what I think I'm going to say. So let's jump on in. Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Before we get started, let's take a small break to say thank you to this week's sponsors. So first is situationships. I recently had an interaction with someone who introduced themselves as the partner of someone that I know. And this happens to be a heterosexual relationship. So they introduced themselves as that person's partner. Meanwhile, I know, because I've talked with the person is a man, I know that this person does not consider her his girlfriend. They've been hanging out for a long period of time. She has met his family. Obviously, they're sleeping together, and she felt very comfortable to introduce herself as his girlfriend. And, she's a stranger to me, so I didn't say anything, and I only got confirmation later on that they hadn't made it official in between when I first heard that she existed to me meeting her. And it brought up something that I've shared here many times, but I think everybody thinks that they're immune when they're in it. And it's really, really hard to hear because you think the feedback I'm about to share is for somebody else, but not you. You think your situation is different. You think about the connection you have. You think about the intimacy you have. You think about the conversations, the trust, the secrets this person has told you. You think about the shared trauma or the trauma that you hold space for this person, and you think, surely this doesn't apply to me. You think about the conversations that y'all have had about them wanting to build and being able to potentially see you be a part of it. But when I tell you that unless a person, and in this situation it was a heterosexual relationship, so for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to say a man. Unless a man claimed you as his girlfriend in private and in public, and you are introduced as his girlfriend, you are single. You are single. And I hate to say it that way, and I'm sure that may feel very heartbreaking or infuriating, or you may want to turn it off, or you may again be listening with that dissonance and saying, well, that's not me, or even you may be a little bit neutral and balanced, and be like, oh, I see how and why she would say that, and Just like she always says, everything ain't for everybody, and take what you need and leave the rest. And yes, absolutely, take what you need and leave the rest. And I have watched over and over and over again with the women that I serve, with the women I'm in intimate relationships with, and even with what I just told you. Women who will confuse being intimately connected to a very nice partner, someone who has all the signs of being a good person, a good guy, and they might even be a really great person, a really great guy, and they will use you as a placeholder. Not because you're lacking, not because you're not pretty enough, not because you're not giving enough, not because you're not smart enough, not because you're not a good mom or a good person, but they know that you're not it for them. When I watch men in general about the things that they love and the things that they want to preserve, they are so protective of it. They are territorial of it. And they want to make sure that what is theirs stays theirs. And if someone else tries to have access to it, they will fight. And they will do everything that they can to make sure that they're laying claim to it. And, you know, conversation about what that means and if that's, you know, archaic or whatever, that's a conversation for a different day. Because the context that I'm talking about this in is that when you are loved, they're going to make it known that you are loved. And sometimes what happens is they don't feel, and I'm talking about, I'm stop giving disclaimers. I'm just going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to hope that y'all can kind of take what you need through this. They may feel that they do not have to actually claim you because they know that you're already theirs. They know that with the words you've given, the time they've given, the gifts here and there, you know, the trips here and there, the fact that you're invited to family gatherings, the fact that you have one of their close friends' phone numbers in the phone, you think that that is enough so that you will stay around. And they don't ever have to do the work and make the commitment verbally, emotionally, mentally, physically to you because you think all of these other things is enough. And meanwhile, you are wasting your time, your energy, your youth. And your youth is whether or not you're 25 or 55 right now. But you think that because y'all have a situationship going on. And here's the thing, and this kind of leads into the second thing. Years ago, when I first started Black Girls Heal, or when I revamped it, because I did Love Junkie at first, and then I did Black Girls Heal. And Black Girls Heal originally was just going to be a trauma-focused podcast. And then I said, no, I want to focus on love addiction and intimacy. So somewhere in the earlier episodes, there's some podcast that talks about being clear about what you want. And I can't remember how I taught it, so that hopefully what I'm about to say aligns, or if my thoughts and beliefs about this has moved, hopefully it still runs parallel. But I talk in that episode about how it's so important for you to be honest with yourself about what type of relationship that you want. There are many of us who will get into relationships, get into situationships, get into casual connections because we have told ourselves that we're not really looking for anything serious. We've told ourselves, you know, I'm really busy in my life right now, but if something serious comes along, then I'll take it on. We'll tell ourselves that, you know, we're going through a period of healing, so we can't really focus on anything serious. We'll tell ourselves that, you know, I'm still trying to figure out what I want and date, and so I'm going to take this as a time of exploration and just have fun. Not being honest with the fact that all of these quote-unquote casual connections, every time you get emotionally connected to someone, every time you share your heart with them, every time someone unexpected slips through, only for them to disappear, go ghost, break up with you, start dating someone else when you're ready to settle down because y'all been hanging out for months, come to find out that what they said at the beginning, that they weren't really interested in anything serious, even though they were doing more serious things with you, they meant what they said. All of those heartbreaks are so devastating and demoralizing and discouraging, all the D words. It's just so hurtful. And I think part of what's really important for us to realize, again, like I've said before, we're not in charge of the bad behavior of other people, but we do need to be able to look at our part. And in this context, I think our part is being honest with ourselves that we want something serious. And even if you are at a place where you are going through a period of healing, you've just gone through a divorce, you're trying to figure out what you want, you're in a busy season of your life, can you be honest with yourself to say, if this ends in heartbreak, will I be okay? And sometimes, depending on the season, you will be. Sometimes, this isn't me being reductive and saying, every single woman cannot have a place where she has an emotional barrier or a boundary and limit to where a romantic relationship is not her whole focus. Absolutely not. Of course we can. Of course we all do. We've all had those periods and seasons. But what I find more often than not is women are not honest with themselves about where they currently are because they're trying to avoid being disappointed. They think that if they go in being kind of a little bit more emotionally flexible and loose in their expectations, it won't hurt when it doesn't fall through. But here's the thing. What that invites is more connections with people who are loose as well. Just because, And it's not even that you necessarily attract that type of energy. If you're a listener, I'm trying to reframe how I've talked about this before and stepping away from, you attract these types of people and things. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's that depending on the type of energy level that we are on, we are more comfortable with energy that is familiar to us. So if I'm at a place where I'm kind of skittish around commitment and moving forward, and what if I put all my eggs in this basket, or what if I start to trust you and get connected to you, and then the same thing happens before, so I'm going to, kind of be on the outskirts of this until I know that it's true. I'm going to possibly be more comfortable with someone who else has that kind of I can take it or leave it energy. And again, that's not you causing it. That's us being able to recognize if that's not the type of energy that I want, then that means my standards around the people who get access to me needs to change. That starts also with me being honest with, no, I want something serious. I want something, that doesn't mean that when I go on a date, I'm going to assume that you are my husband and we're getting engaged the next 2 weeks. I'm still going to have the wisdom to be able to vet people and get to know who they are. But my standards to who gets access to my time, my energy, and my body is only men, women, and persons who want long-term monogamous commitment, if that is what I'm looking for. And I think when you've gone through so many years of disappointment, and maybe even seasons and chapters where you're like, you know what, I am tired of being single, and I am going to declare that this is my year and all that stuff, only for it to not work out, it is protective for you to not put your hopes up in that way, to use that type of language. And I get it. I've been there. And what I don't want, y'all, for those of you who've had that type of heartbreak, is for you to spend another 4, 6, 8, 9 months of your life, 2 years of your life, 5 years of your life with someone who may potentially be using you as a placeholder. Spring is here, y'all, and it's time for some spring cleaning. In addition to getting your home in order, now is the time to make sure you're taking care of your body as well. Getting your annual checkups, biannual dentist appointments, meeting with your specialist, your well woman exam, and more. Remember, prevention is the best medicine. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, are available when you need them, and treat almost every condition under the sun. Surprise Twist may work for your favorite TV shows, but maybe not for medical care. With ZocDoc, there are no alarms and no surprises. Choose from thousands of patient-reviewed doctors and specialists, browse doctor profiles, upload and verify your insurance information, and get the care you need. Go to ZocDoc.com/BGH and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/BGH. ZocDoc.com/BGH. Hey, we hope you're enjoying the podcast so far. Let's take a quick break to say thanks to this week's sponsors. I hear so much from so many women. It's so common for many of us with our traumas that we have never felt protected. Even if someone has physically been there, we have never felt emotionally protected and cherished and valued. And I want more than anything for you to feel that and to have that embodiment, and for you to know that you know that you know that you know that someone is there for you in all ways. And it is very rare that happens with someone who says, well, let's just see how it goes. Or I'm going through some things right now. Or you know that I love you, you know how I feel about you. Well, do you? If you do, am I your girlfriend? Is there commitment here? And if there is commitment, what does this commitment look like? For how long am I going to be your girlfriend? This is where I know it kind of gets into dicey territory, because I know some people don't believe in marriage, that it doesn't mean anything. Some people believe in longer courtships when it comes to girlfriend, boyfriend, or girlfriend relationships than others. So with that, please use your own value system when it comes to this. But I'm going to speak to the people who do not. For them, marriage is the level of commitment that they want. That, yeah, we can be girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, person, partner for a while. But at some point, there needs to be a ring for you. There needs to be a legal commitment. I need and I want to have the legal protection that if something happened to you, that me and the kids, if we choose to have them, is covered. I need to have access to medical records. I need to have access to know that we are actually building together with all of the protections and everything in place, and that you have all your chips in. Again, not everybody wants that, but I'm speaking right now to those that do. So for you, how long do you want to be, or are you willing to be someone's girlfriend, if that is something that you're open to being? And it's okay for you to be honest about that. I think this is where it kind of chips into whether it's a trauma of previous relationships, romantic relationships, and, trying to hedge your bets and be okay with whatever outcome, so I'm not going to really expect this much. This is what I want, but I'm going to be okay if I don't get it, and kind of having that kind of mentality that kind of preps you for disappointment. Like, what if it was okay if you don't get it? What if it's not okay if you don't get it? What if for you, because you know what you want, you know what you're worth, and you know what, at least a better way to say that, what you want in this lifetime, you have a clear understanding of what you want for your relationships in this lifetime? What if it's not okay with you if you're someone's girlfriend for 4 or 5 years before you even get to talk about being someone's fiance? What if it's not okay with you that y'all have a few kids together and y'all been together for a decade and you're still not married? What if it's okay for you to flip the rules? What if that's okay? And I'm saying this because I feel like so many of us don't give ourselves permission to be honest about what it is that we want. Whether or not it's saying, I'm tired, I love my career, I love my friends, I love my family, and it's not acceptable for me to just, be casual with people anymore. I want to take the risk to put myself out there to be serious. It's not okay just for me to be someone's domestic partner. It's not okay for me to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't serve me anymore. Like, whatever it is, you get to change the rules. You get to change the script. You get to be honest with what you want. And if there's a part of you that's afraid to admit what you want, then that's the trauma that we deal with. We don't need to go to our partner and say, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking. What are you thinking? Because he, she, or them, if they're not on the same wavelength, and if they're unhealthy, or maybe they are healthy, but they just want something different, and we're not standing in our own personal clarity, we are going to be so easily swayed to go with whatever they say, because our emotional bond and our emotional foundation is what is still based on what someone else thinks, and their permission and their filtering, versus getting clear with your gut, getting clear with your own intuition, with your own inner voice that tells you what you want and what you need. And then once you're clear on that, once you're set and firm in those standards, and that doesn't mean that it's self-protective and that it's abrasive and that it's aggressive, it's just clear, it's firm, it's solid. Once I'm solid in what I need and what I want, and that it's okay to need what I want, and to have those desires, and for those desires, and not only for me to have them as dreams, but for them to be reality. I remember one person I was talking to, and I could tell they had gone through so much trauma, and they were talking about their dreams, and they said, Shena, not everybody, all of your dreams don't come true. They were trying to convince me that something that I wanted was unreasonable, and that I just had to accept the fate that not all of your dreams come true in the way that they had. And I'm like, yo, if what you're telling me, if what I see and how you exhibit, how you show up in life and how you show up in your everyday world with the sadness and the low self-esteem and, just accepting that you have to settle, if that's what you're trying to sell me on, I don't want that. And that may be where you needed to get at this point, but that's not where I am going to be. And that doesn't fit for me. So whatever dreams that you may have given up on, even if you've let whatever your standard is or whatever your reality is be your normal for 5 months, for 5 years, for even 5 decades, girl, you get to decide what you want. You get to choose you at any point. You get to change your mind. You are in control of you. So I hope that helps. The other thing that I was probably going to talk about, I feel like it kind of clashes, and I should probably get going to a doctor's appointment right now. I'm running a little bit late, but again, I hope this hits those who need it. On the healthier side too, for those of you who are, let's say you did start something that was casual with someone and they slipped through, or you've just been doing your work and everything has been upgrading, your friendships, your personal life, your romantic life, your life with your family members and everything. I say this often, and I think I say it often because we need to hear it, and maybe in different ways and at different times. But another way that I would encourage you to be honest about what you want is to let in the love, the kindness, the abundance, and the attention that you've been praying for your whole life. When you start to get loved the way that you've always wanted to be loved, it's jarring. It's scary. It can also feel very threatening. I know some things that have come up for me are trauma things like this is going to go away, or there's only so much, like this person can't really love me and have love for all these other people, because that's basically a sign, y'all, of securely attached people. They have a lot of really amazing relationships. And so something that I would have to work on is that lack mentality showing up as jealousy. Will they get tired of me? Will there be enough space and energy in all these other places? But I'm only saying that not because that was necessarily the focus, but more the fear that emotional neglect, emotional abuse, and all this other stuff will give you is that there's always a threat. And so you will start to push away what's good, even when it's right there freely in front of you, because you're trying to protect yourself. So whether or not it's criticizing your partner, your friends, your family member, and looking for a way that they need to improve so that you can finally rest, they start to get annoying to you. They are helping you with things, but they're not helping you in the way that you want them to help you. They're giving you compliments, but they're not complimenting you in the exact same way that you want it to be done, or in the exact tone. Like, you'll find ways to try to distract and dismiss what you've always had as a protective technique. And so going back to being honest with what you want and what you need, being honest with yourself that you want to be loved, being honest with yourself that this is going to be new and different for you, being honest with yourself that maybe what you think this is supposed to be, that you're going to have to learn how to be treated differently, learn how to rest, learn how to receive, learn how to be in ease, and learn how to let things be easy. We go over a lot of red flags here. We go over a lot of signs of someone being unavailable and not the one for you. And so sometimes when we find people who are the one and they don't have those red flags, we try to create them. And I want to encourage y'all to let yourself be loved, to let them love you, and to move forward, and to believe that you're worthy of it. And to also believe that life does get to be this easy, that it doesn't matter if life has been so hard for you for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, for 50 years, for 60 years. Yes, that was your story. Yes, those are things that really happened to you. And at no point does that have to dictate your next chapter. That maybe you get to have an easy, abundant life. Maybe this is how it's always supposed to have been. So, all right, I'm really late, y'all. I'm going to stop this episode now. I'm going to go and put on my shoes. I'm sending all of you so much love, and I look forward to seeing y'all in our next episode. Take care of yourselves. Hey, so thanks for listening to today's podcast. If you enjoy what you've learned, it doesn't have to stop here. You can check out the blackgirlsheal.org website and grab the worksheet for this week's episode or any of your other favorite episodes from our shop with an overview of the main points, healing circle discussion questions and journal prompts, and challenges that you can take with you into the week. Also, you can check out any of our other self-study and coaching programs, resources, and freebies to help you heal from the intimacy disorders of love addiction, love avoidance, love deprivation, and the trauma that causes it. The best time to start or restart your healing journey is now. We hope you enjoy all of these resources, and until next time, remember you are so loved, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves.